Alright, guys, let's learn about some intervals. Intervals measure the distance between the notes. Any note, one line or space above the previous note, is always a second away. Two lines or spaces is a third, three is a fourth, etc. All the way up through as many as you want, but we're going to go up through eighths, or an octave. Let's see, the first one isn't notated on here, but it is called a unison. If two notes are being played at the same time, and they're the same note, that is a unison. The rest are in order: seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, and the octave. These are generic intervals. Flats and sharps are irrelevant with this concept, so C to D is a second as well as C to D flat and C to D sharp and C to D double flat and C to D double sharp. Specific intervals measure the distance between notes and include the quality. These can be major, minor, diminished, or augmented. Major can be written as the word major or MAJ for short. Minor can be written as the word minor or MIN. Diminished can be DIM or a capital D, and augmented can be AUG or a plus sign. However, we measure the interval names with the lines and spaces. The quality corresponds with the number of half steps. Rules. The rules to specific intervals. Intervals can be major or minor in seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. Intervals can be perfect in fourths, or firsts, fifths, or the octaves, which are also called eighths. A major or perfect interval, a half step high, is now augmented. A minor or perfect interval, a half step lower, is now diminished. Here's a chart for your use that shows the half steps in the blue and the quality above, showing the interval and corresponding to half steps. When naming an interval, you would say the quality name, then the generic name, such as minor second or major seventh or diminished third or augmented fourth. Here's a little quiz over thirds. It's not really a quiz because I'm telling you the answers. So, the first one is major third, because you're going from F to A with how many half steps? 1, 2, 3, 4. The second is a minor third, because you're going from F to A flat with 3 half steps. The third is an augmented third, from F to A sharp with 5 half steps. And the fourth is a diminished third, from F to A double flat with 2 half steps. So if you're writing thirds, say, let's start on G. Let's see if this will do it in real time. Alright. So there's your G, and a third away from G would be what? Well, it's going to be on the B line anyways, because it's a third. So now you get to choose the quality. If this is a major third, because it has 4 half steps, let's count up. G to A flat to A to B flat, and B flat to B, that's 4. That means it's already a major third. If we were to make it, say, augmented, we would add a sharp to that major third. Or, it's not letting me go. Okay. Or you could do it, adding a flat would make it a minor third, and adding 2 flats, say, would make it a diminished third, which is not the same thing as a whole step, even though it sounds exactly alike. Got it? Good. Let's do the same thing on fifths. So G to D would be a perfect fifth, because it has 7 half steps. G to D sharp would be a augmented fifth, because when you raise a perfect fifth by a half step, it becomes augmented. G to D flat would be a diminished fifth, because when you lower a perfect interval by a half step, it becomes diminished. So let's see. If I draw a E, what's a fifth above E? So do, re, mi, fa, so. So above E would be a B. You can do that by counting the lines between. So if you're on a line, there's going to be one line and two spaces between. Let's say that you want to make it perfect. It's already perfect because it has 7 half steps. So to make it augmented, you would raise it by adding a sharp. Or to make it diminished, you would add a flat. Inversions. To invert an interval is to take a note on the bottom or the top and put it in the opposite place relative to the other note. To the right, you'll see examples of inversions. I've taken F to A and A to F. I've taken G to D and D to G. This generally changes the way an interval sounds, as well as the generic name and the quality of the interval. When intervals are inverted, here are the changes to rename these intervals. A minor interval will become major and a major will become minor. A perfect interval will remain perfect. Augmented intervals will become diminished and vice versa. Seconds become sevenths, thirds become sixths, fourths become fifths, and vice versa for all. I've included some examples. An augmented sixth is now a diminished third, because a sixth becomes a third and a augmented becomes a diminished. A perfect fourth is now a perfect fifth. Perfect stays perfect, and fourths become fifths. A major second is now a minor seventh, because major becomes minor and seconds become sevenths. I've written the examples in staffs for your learning purposes. The end. Bye.